Hi, I'm Teresa from Phoenix Gate Crafts, and welcome to the 2024 Textured Sampler Crochet Along. This is the first part of the crochet along. There is also a knit along going at the same time. Same end product, but different pattern completely. So you can find that video if you are interested. To get started, make sure you have all the stuff that you need for this crochet along. I did make a video a few weeks back, which will be linked in the description and at the end of this video if you would like to see it. And that tells you exactly what you need for this crochet along. And it'll tell you what's going on, what you're making, and everything about it. For the pattern, you will want to visit my blog for the free version. So my blog is phoenixgatecrafts.com, or you can go to my Etsy shop for the full pattern, which has the knit and the crochet pattern. And that is etsy.com/shop/phoenixgatecrafts. Let's actually get started with making this thing. Friendly reminder that the crochet pattern does start in the center. And we actually start it exactly the same way that we start a granny square. But we're going to do a few things slightly differently. But we're going to start off by chaining 4. Slip stitching to the first chain and creating a loop. This is sturdier than a magic ring, but if you want to do like a double magic ring and then weave in your tail as you go along, perfectly legit. Now, a lot of times what people do is they chain 2 or they chain 3 to represent their very first crochet stitch, which in this case it is a double crochet. But the thing is, once you actually end, it still looks a little different. So here's what I'm doing. You're welcome to do it. This is how it is written in the pattern, because patterns are suggestions, not rules. I'm doing a standing double crochet. So what you do is you pull your loop up to a little bit higher than where you want your double crochet to be, and you hold it with your finger. Then what you do is you loop around to create your loop. That's why you have to hold it with your finger, because if you don't, whoop, it doesn't do it right. So you hold it and you loop around, and your finger has to stay there and hold it. Then you pick up a loop just like you normally would, and then you pull through that first loop, and under that kind of loopy loop, and then you pull through for your first stitch. Now, this can, if you don't get your measurements right for it, you do wind up with a particularly large top loop on your first stitch. But that makes it a little bit easier to see that, because otherwise it can get pulled around in the other loops. And then you just do 2 more double crochets to create one side, and look at how that looks like a double crochet. And then chain 2, grab more yarn. That chain 2 is the corner. And then we're going to do 3 more double crochets. 2, 3, and then chain 2, and hey, we have 2 sides. We need 4 sides because this thing is going to be a square. So 3 more double crochets and chain 2, 1, 2, 3, chain 2. Now we're going to do our 3 double crochets for the last side. 1. I am working over my tail. 2 and 3. Now Typically what you are told to do for the last corner is to chain 2 and then slip stitch to close here. But here's the thing, that does not put you in the middle of a corner, which is the perfect place to start. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to make a half double crochet that I go into the top of that first stitch. Which is why if you prefer a chain 2 or chain 3, chain 3 is a little bit better. And then you just do your half double crochet and you pull through. And look at that. It creates a corner just like the others. So anytime you need a chain 2 to close a corner and you want to wind up in the middle of the corner, so you don't wind up having to crab stitch back or anything funky or slip stitch to the next corner, just do a half double crochet. If you have a chain 1 instead, what you could do is a single crochet. Works pretty much the same. And it is a slightly bigger corner, but in the end, that's not going to be noticeable because these are going to stretch up anyway. And now this is where the difference from a regular granny square starts. Now I'm going to tell you right here, right now, that if you are adjusting the size of this, you can adjust any section bigger or smaller to your choice. I don't have a problem with that. However, this one section is a pain in the ass to adjust size. It works out so the next section starts with a nice easy number of stitches and it's going to work out perfectly. If you go one more round, it's not going to work out nearly as nice. So I really suggest that go ahead and adjust any other section you want. Please do not adjust this section. So if you were going to crochet this pattern flat, it would be a 2 round repeat, but because we're going in the round and things don't work out perfectly, every round is unique. But we're going to start with a single crochet round. So chain 1 and then 2 single crochets, chain 1, then you find the middle stitch. Now here's the thing, that first one goes straight to the corner. See how that one goes to the corner. Whenever you follow a stitch up, the part you actually go through goes slightly to the right of the stitch. See how it kind of goes up and then the hole is slightly to the right. Remember that because that's going to be particularly important in this crochet section. So you want to go into the middle after your chain 1 and do 2 single crochets, chain 1, skip 1, and then 2 single crochets in the corner, chain 2, and then 2 single crochets in the same corner. Now we're on the next side, chain 1, 2 single crochets in the middle stitch, so basically skip 1, 1, 2, chain 1, and 2 single crochets in the corner, chain 2, and 2 more single crochets in the same corner. I'm going to just do this full round with you because this is easier this way. And chain 1, 2 single crochets in the middle, chain 1, 2 single crochets, chain 2, 2 single crochets, chain 1, 2 single crochets in the middle, chain 1, and 2 single crochets in that final corner. We've now made it all the way around, and because we're doing chain 2s in the corner, we're going to do what I call a half double crochet corner. Whoop! And ta-da! It's a little fiddly at this stage, but that is okay. Now we get to the section that becomes, well, quite frankly, this section is the biggest yarn eater of them all. Just because we are doing popcorns. But first we start off with our standing double crochet. So pull out your loop, twist it around forward and counterclockwise. Pull up a loop, go under 2 loops, go through 2 loops. And then we're going to do another one in the corner. And now we're going to do 1 double crochet in each of these single crochets. So we're going to do 1 double crochet, and another double crochet. These are American terms and I know them. I use them. I blame my puppy because she's not here to defend herself. So now we have 2 single crochets in the middle. And what we're going to do is a popcorn in the first one, a chain 1 to separate our popcorns, and then another popcorn in the next single crochet. So here we go. So we're going to do, for a popcorn, we do 5 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. You will likely need to grab more yarn. I do. 4, 5. And then you're actually going to remove your hook. Just make sure you pinch off this one. And we're going to count back 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches. You can also usually tell because they all come out of the same stitch. So all 5 were in the same stitch. And then we go through that 5th one, and then we grab our working loop and we pull it through. Chain 1. And now we do the same thing in the next single crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the same stitch. Pull it out, find the first of the 5. You can count back 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or just the start one. Sometimes it's easier to find just the start one, sometimes it's not. You will eventually pull through. Kind of get used to it being this way. And then we're going to do 2 double crochets, and that'll bring us to the corner. And then 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets in the corner. So if you look at a side, we actually have 4 double crochets, our popcorn chain popcorn, and then 4 double crochets to the corner. And that's basically what we do. So we've got our 2 double crochets for this part of the corner, then we do 1 double crochet in each single crochet. And now we find our 2 single crochets. And remember, the stitch we're going into is slightly to the right of the stitch we're actually looking at. So then we do our popcorn. So remember, popcorn is 5 double crochets in the same stitch. 2, 3, 4, 5, go to the first one, pick up that loop again, pull through, chain 1, and then do the same thing without the chain 1 in the next stitch. So 1, 2, 3, sorry, 4, 5. Sorry about that little jump. I kicked everything, had some snags. Joy of high technology, man. And then 2 in stitches, and then 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets in the corner. So basically we're going to do the same thing on the next 2 sides. Go ahead if you need to and rewind to the start of this section of this row and go ahead and follow it along for the last 2 sides. I'll meet you just before we close the last side. All right, here we go. We've got our 4 double popcorns. You might catch me calling these roses by mistake. To me, they don't look like popcorn. They look to me like little rosebuds. Like if you look at it, you can see that there's the top. It looks like petals. I don't know. That might just be my brain. But now we're in the corner and we're going to do a half double crochet corner. So we're gonna go under, pull up, go through all 3 loops, and there we go. I know it looks a little wobbly. Don't worry about it. It kind of works out all in the end. It actually does lay pretty flat. So now we're going to do another single crochet row. So chain 1 so that you can do 2 single crochets, chain 1. We're going to skip that first stitch, and then we're going to single crochet in the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3. Now, friendly reminder that the stitch for a rose / popcorn is this little V shape right here, right next to it. So we're going to basically skip that, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets in between the 2 popcorns. Anyway, then we chain 1, and then we go into the next 3 double crochets. We're just doing single crochets because this is a single crochet round. It doesn't build up. It just creates the structure for the next one. Then we do a single crochet, 2 single crochets, chain 2, and 2 more single crochets in the same corner. And then we're going to do it on the other side. These single crochet rounds go so fast. We chain 1, skip 1, 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 2 single crochets between the popcorns, 1, 2, chain 1, and then 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and then 2 single crochets, chain 2, 2 single crochets. And you can do the last two sides on your own. Meet me in the corner. And now we've added on. I know this doesn't create much height, but that is a-okay because this next round we are going to create height. But first we have to close off this one. And we're going to do a half double crochet corner. Ta-da! Standing double crochet. And then another double crochet in the corner. And now we're going straight into popcorns, because that's what 2 single crochets together means, is popcorn, chain, popcorn. So we're going to go straight into that. So 5 double crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Find the first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So right there. Pull through. Chain 1. And then we do it in the next stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, get more yarn, 5, find the first stitch. It'll be right next to the chain, so it's actually kind of easy. And now we're not going to chain after this one, because we have 3 single crochets in a row. 1, 2, 3. So we're going to do 1 double crochet in each of those. 1, 2, 3. All right. And now we've found a chain 1 and then 2 single crochets. So that means popcorn, chain, popcorn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Find the first one, pull through, chain 1, and then we do the next one. 1, 2, a 3, a 4, get more yarn, a 5 in the same stitch. Find the first one and pull through. Now we have 3 single crochets again. So we do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And now we have 2 single crochets. So what does that mean? Popcorn, chain, popcorn. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, so popcorn, chain, popcorn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then find the first one, And you always insert your hook front to back just like you always do. And then that brings us to the corner where we do 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets to turn the corner. All right, so let's have a quick look at this. So as you can see, now we have, instead of just 1 popcorn set, we have 3 sets of popcorns. And we have 3 double crochets between each popcorn. Now, something I want to bring to your attention is before and after our popcorn sets, we do not chain. We just go straight from double crochets into the popcorn double crochets and straight from the last popcorn to the first double crochet. The only chain on this round is between the 2 popcorns. And that is because this creates that, you see how they kind of go up and to the side and it looks like they come from a single point? That's because we have, on the row below, we do have that chain 1. So those 2 single crochets kind of create that illusion of coming together underneath the stitch. And then, because we don't have that chain 1, there's more space at the bottom than the top. It's going to pull this out a little bit to the side, and then the chain in between creates the space. So you wind up getting a bit more of a V. Not a huge V, but a little bit, and that's what creates the unique shaping. So we're going to basically do that on all 4 sides. So we have 2 single crochets, so that is popcorn, chain popcorn. And I hope at this point you know how to do a popcorn. Five double crochets in the same stitch. Now it is a little more tricky to find the 5th, so you can either count from this side over 5, or because we're at the beginning and we know there were 2 double crochets in the corner, we can go 1, 2, and then that's the first one. Either way, whatever's comfy for you. The cool thing is, this is your project. If there's ever anything you don't like to do, you don't have to do it. And if there's something you like, hey, you can do it more. 1, 2, 3, whoops, 4, 5. And then find the first one. It's got a space right next to it. And then we've got 3 single crochets. So we do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And you'll notice in this portion, 3 double crochets, 3 single crochets, 3 double crochets. Guess what? The next round, there's going to be 3 single crochets over this. But before we get to there, we've got 2 single crochets. So we're going to do another popcorn, chain popcorn. All right, and now 3 single crochets. So we're going to do 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. And now grab the yarn. Might as well grab the yarn now. We need, woo, look at all that. And now we've got 2 single crochets. So popcorn, chain, popcorn. Oops. Yeah. Second popcorn. I do get into a zone and forget what I'm doing. And that brings us to the corner. So we're going to do 2 double crochets. Chain 2 and 2 double crochets. So what you're going to have to do, you're going to do this side and this side, meet you at that last corner. All right, and now it should look like this. Ta-da! And don't worry, it does pull in a little bit. This all gets sorted out eventually. And since we're in the corner, we're gonna do, you guessed it, a half double crochet corner. Ta-dum! All right, so as you can see, we really couldn't Shanghai in an extra double crochet here. If we get too much packed into the corner, if you think that this is a little bit pulley, it would be a lot pulley, especially after a few more rounds. So we are going to deal with that, and we are dealing with it technically on this round, but it'll work into the next double crochet / popcorn round. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a chain 1. And just like the previous round, we're going to do 2 single crochets into the same corner. Then we're going to do our chain 1. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do 1 single crochet in this stitch, and then we're going to do 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Chain 1, and then the rest to the end is going to be the same. So we're going to do 2 single crochets between the popcorns, chain 1, and then 3 single crochets between the popcorns, chain 1, 2 single crochets between the popcorns, and then chain 1, 3 single crochets. Oops. We want to go into the stitch, not under the stitch. So it's still 2, and then 3, chain 1, between, chain 1, and now we're on the other side. So we're going to do 2 single crochets into the same stitch, single crochet into the next one, chain 1, and then we're going to do the corner, which is 2 single crochets, chain 2, and then 2 single crochets, chain 1, doing the other side now, get a little bit more yarn here, and now we're going to do 1 single crochet and then 2 in the same stitch, chain 1, 2 between your popcorns, chain 1, and then 3, chain 1, and then 2, chain 1, then 3, chain 1, and then 2, and then chain 1, and then we're going to do 2 in the same one. We're going to do 1 in the last one, chain 1, and then 2 single crochets, chain 2, and then 2 single crochets. And then you're going to do that this side, meeting in the corner. All right, so we have it. Yes, it looks a little scraggly. It is okay. And then we do a half double crochet corner. And this is where things both do and don't change up a little bit. So we're going to do our standing double crochet and then another one. This is basically like the previous round. And now we have our 2 single crochets. You should be pretty much familiar with how this goes. So we're going to do a popcorn here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to find the first one. This is basically like the previous round. So this round and exactly how we're doing it. Chain 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have 3 single crochets. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 double crochets. Then we're going to do 2 popcorns with the chain between them. The rest is pretty much the same. I'm going to take this opportunity to tell you that if you make mistakes, so like if you forgot to do 2 single crochets in between your previous 2 popcorns, that's okay. Just do your 2 popcorns in the same stitch. It'll be a little extra wide, but you won't notice it. If you forgot to do that extra single crochet in one of the edge stitches, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Just do 2 double crochets in one stitch, and then the third will be fine. So we're doing 3 double crochets here. I have them counted correctly, but if there is a mistake, just kind of do your best to muddle it. Ultimately, because this is all one color, if you have a single stitch error, it's not going to be very noticeable. Now we do popcorn, chain popcorn. And if you forget to do the pull through part on it, on the next round, you can just do kind of a slip stitch there to make it go. The only time that I really, whoops, sometimes I do that. It's a habit. Ooh, okay. The only time I go back for an error is if it's on like the same row that I'm working on. Or if it's something that's super noticeable, like if I forgot to do these popcorns right here, you'd notice that in this stack, there's a missing one. I'd go back for that. But for the most part, errors just kind of make a piece homemade. And most people don't know what they're looking at when they're looking at your crochet work. So although they might miss one set of popcorns missing because that's pretty big, if you're doing accidentally 4 double crochets instead of 5, you're just going to wind up with one slightly smaller popcorn. Nobody can tell. You have to really look for it anyway. And now we have 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3 double crochets, and then 2 more popcorns with the chain between them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, chain 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and pull through. And now we're at the corner, so 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. Whoops. And there we go. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is the max number of popcorns we're going to have on a side. And in case you were wondering, yes, technically a popcorn is a type of bauble. And now you're going to do the other 3 sides, and then we're going to do the half double crochet close. Then we'll meet back up after that. All right, we have this much of a square. We're going to do the final 2 pattern rounds, and then we're going to do the round that ends all the rounds for every section, except the last one. But before that, we really do need to do this. So this is going to be a departure from kind of what we've done. We're still doing a single crochet round, but here's what we're doing. We're doing a chain 1 and then 2 single crochets. Then we're doing 1 single crochet in each double crochet for a total of 4 single crochets. Then we're doing our chain 1, and then we're getting back into our usual pattern. 1, 2, and then chain 1, and then we're going to do 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 2 double crochets between the popcorns. I said 2, right? I meant 2. I don't know what I said. I need to start listening to myself. Chain 1, 3 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, chain 1, 2 single crochets. 1, 2, chain 1, 3 single crochets. Yeah, you know the pattern. We're just doing it. Single crochets into the double crochets, chain, and then 2 in between. The only thing that's different is the ending. Which is honestly a lot more like that very first round we did way back for this one. That one right there. And now we're at the end, so we do 1 single crochet in each double crochet, so there's 2. And then 2 single crochets, chain 2, and then 2 single crochets. Ta-da! And we're going to just do that on the 3 other sides. 1, 2, 3. Half double crochet corner, and I will meet you back. So we're on to our last pattern round. So this one's going to be a bit different than what we've done for the past 3 pattern rounds. I mean, they've all been a little bit different, but still, we're not making quite as many popcorns. So we're gonna do our standing double crochet and another one, and then we're going to just do a double crochet in each single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to do our popcorn chain popcorn. I hope you're familiar with the pattern by now. Oops, not doing a chain there. Do not need a chain there. If you ever do that, just kind of undo it and do a different pull through. I accidentally do a bunch of extra chains, because the way I learned to do popcorn stitches was that you always do a chain at the end, but sometimes that gets counting stitches very confusing, which is why I don't do it, just the pull through, and then you wind up with your next stitch. And it works better in my head. Feel free to debate me on that point in the comments. But more importantly, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments, though the better place to go is my Phoenix Gate Crafts group on Facebook. All right, and now we are at the end of the row. 4 double crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then in the corner, we're going to do 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 double crochets. You'll notice we have 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row. We didn't actually add any more popcorns in the corners. That is on purpose. So just remember, 2 in the corner, 4 double crochets, then start your pattern. So go ahead and do that all the way around. End with your half double crochet corner, and I will see you there for the final round of this section. Now we've got a pretty good square. And we've only got 1 round left, and this round is basically going to be the same no matter what. We're not going to do it on the very last section because that one doesn't need it. But this is going to be the first step of a little texture break that's going to be between each section. All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a standing double crochet, and if you want this one, you could totally do a chain 2, and it'll be fine. And then we're going to do a second double crochet, and then we're going to do a double crochet in every single stitch across, which is very easy for the first 6 because it's just 1 each. And here we go, 6. All right, now that we're at the 6th, we're going to crochet into this one right here. All right, so then we do a crochet in this chain underneath between, and then we do a double crochet for this popcorn right here. And see how that looks very solid. So that's basically what we're going to do. We're going to do a single crochet in each double crochet. And then we're going to do a double crochet into, slightly to the right of the popcorn, one in between the popcorns, and then one in the last popcorn. And we're just doing that all the way across. If you count the way I kind of always count, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you start over. But hey, look at that. We're basically at the end. This part's really easy. And then you do the 2 in the corner, chain 2, and then you start it all over with 2 double crochets in the same corner. And then you just 1 double crochet in every stitch across. Do that all the way around. We are doing something a little different in this last corner, so I will meet you at the final corner of this section. Well, corner, not quarter. I can't talk. And here we go. We're on the last bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to chain 1, and chain 2, which, you know how I like to end these. This isn't typically how I do it. Then I'm going to go a few inches away and cut my yarn. About 4 or 5 inches. And here's the thing, I'm going to pull through. Don't tighten, just pull through. Now, grab your tapestry needle. I prefer bent tip for this just because we are dealing in a corner. And load her up. All right. Now what we're going to do is we are going to go into our first stitch under it as if we were going to be picking up like normal, and we're going to pull through. Now we're going to pull this close, and you're going to see that there is a loop here, right here. And we are actually going to pull our yarn forward, and we're going to go into that loop. And then we're going to actually go down this first stitch and a little bit further into the other stitches in the corner. Then what we're going to do, you see how we just created one more loop right here? We're going to pull until it looks in keeping with the rest of the loops. And that is how we finish off every section so that it doesn't look like we did anything special. All of our corners throughout the entire piece look basically the same. Then we just, since we're already here, we weave in this one tail. Doop. Try to go 3 directions so that nothing can come out. Give it a couple little yanks. It looks pretty much the same as the other one. Ta-da! I'm tired. And then we cut real close. And then we go back to our first one, Since I worked over the tail, this can be cut real close. And now our first one is done. So I used most of a skein. This is the single pattern that uses the most yarn because it has the most popcorn slash bobbles slash whatever we're going to call them. So thank you very much. This is the first section. I will see you next week with the second section. If you're doing a different color, have that color ready. Again, if you want to find the written pattern, you can find it on my blog. Link is in the description, but it's at phoenixgatecrafts.com. You can also find the full pattern at my Etsy shop, etsy.com/shop/phoenixgatecrafts. And if you want any help, you can go to my Facebook group, which is Phoenix Gate Crafts Group. And with that, happy crafting. See you next week. Bye.